Talented running back Nick Singleton. Nick, congratulations on the effort the other day and the season as a whole, as you look forward to the Fiesta Bowl, first ever college football playoff quarterfinal.
Appreciate it.
We'll jump right into some questions here. First, we'll go up to Idaho. Bob Beeler, the Bronco Radio Network.
Nice to see you, Nick. Just wanted to find out a little bit about you and your running back partner, Katron. What are the similarities and differences between the two of you? And then what about the two of you as compared to Ashton?
Yeah, I feel like me and Katron, first of all, we're good friends, great teammates, stuff he does well on, he's obviously a physical runner, man. If it's one-on-one, he's gonna run you over. As for me, I try to be more physical too, but I rely really on my speed too, really fast player. And as far as comparing with Jeanty, both all of us backs really good. Jeanty's been having obviously incredible year, man, and we're just looking forward to playing against him.
Thank you, Nick. We'll go to Greg Pickle, Blue and White Illustrated. Greg.
Nick, thanks for your time.
Thank
From your perspective, how is preparing for a game from a physical game 15 from a physical perspective different to maybe game one or game two in terms of what you're doing in the weight room, being on the practice field, things like that? How does that change as you balance keeping your body as fresh as can be with also the number of games you've played?
Yeah, or I'll just say, always be in the treatment room. Every time you're hurt, being there, getting the ice tubs, just taking care of your body. Most importantly, make sure you eat right. And obviously, the coaches know, it's obviously week 15, like you say, everybody's beat up a little bit. So kind of reps kind of went down a little bit, but still like more jog through, but being more like dial in like what we're trying to do as like in a jog through perspective. So it's been really good, man. We're just ready.
Thanks, Seth Engel. Seth, you're up.
Hey, Nick, thanks for the time. When we talked to Coach K earlier, he said that he felt that you and Katron are both kind of playing at the highest level that you have this year. Would you agree with that? And where exactly has that come from?
Yeah, I feel like me and Katron are playing a high level right now, especially these past couple games. Both having touchdowns, both rushing for good yards. And again, the coaches, they're taking care of us during practice. The reps are cutting down, full speed, more jog through reps. And me and Katron again being in the treatment room, taking care of everybody's, just being ready for them Saturday games. So we're feeling good.
Thank you. We'll move to Daniel Gallen. Daniel.
Appreciate your time this morning, Nick. Earlier in that answer, when you're comparing yourself and Katron, you mentioned, you try to be more physical this year. I think we talked about it after Illinois, talked about you being violent last weekend. What has that been like to develop that part of your game, and how much of that is mentality versus how much of that is maybe doing things differently with your body to be able to be more physical?
Yeah, just like I said, just trying to be more physical. Um, running people over. If it's like a one-on-one situation where nowhere to go, just picking somebody and just running them over. Being that physical back, just adding that to your trait as a running back. I feel like that's good for any running back. You can be physical, you can run, like all the aspects you have. It just makes you more dangerous. I feel like so. I'm still trying to develop that.
Thank you, Daniel. Go Rich Scarcella. Rich.
Thanks, Scott. Nick, you talked about you and Katron's success the last two games. What have you seen from your offensive line? It seems like they have really played well against two pretty good run defenses the last two games.
Yeah, like we always say, it always starts up front. O-line's been doing a heck of a job throughout the whole year. They always been every day in the treatment room, taking care of their bodies. We just rely on them guys, man, and they always go up to the challenge. Coach Franklin calls them out every time. It's always starts up front, D line, O line, and they always take it personally. So the O line they've been really good.
Thank you, Rich. Devin Jackson. Devin, you're up.
Hey Nick, thanks for your time. I wanted to ask you about Stacy Collins. He's coaching at Boise State now, but spent a couple years at Penn State as a special teams coordinator. What do you remember about playing under him and what was he like to be coached? Obviously, you didn't spend a ton of time, but you were a kick returner under his unit last couple years.
Yeah, yeah, Coach Khan's been really good. Like these obviously 2 years ago, he's been really good. Being that leader on the team for special teams. setting the tone every time we step on the field. He's always that energy guy. Everybody loves him, man. Like everybody thinks he's funny. He brings the energy, like I said. So he's been really good. And I just can't wait to see him again and go up against him.
Thanks, Nick. We'll move on to Audrey.
Hey Nick, thanks for your time. I'm curious, Drew was telling us like day one, day two of spring ball, you guys were repping 2 minute drill, and Tyler was saying like you guys are all trying to absorb Andy's offense at that point in time. What do you remember about that and kind of where this offense was and what maybe were some of the challenges or complications with trying to learn that offense when you look at it now in hindsight?
Yeah, yeah, he just came into the spring, learning a new offense. Obviously, it's hard because last year was a different offense, different schemes and all that. But we just stick together. Coach K, his schemes were obviously really good. We take pride with that. Just having fun on the field. I feel like you have fun, everything else will take care of itself. Plus Coach K is a big energy guy. Brings the energy every time, and I feel like everybody loves him. And we always talk about situational football and all that every day. So it's been really good.
Thanks, Audrey. Tyler Donahue.
Thanks for the time, Nick. We wanted to ask about Drew and his development at quarterback. Andy talked about the process being pretty seamless game week to game week now with him because of his experience. When you get to this portion of the calendar, you're learning new opponents in a quick amount of time. They're marquee matchups. How big is it for you guys to have Drew leading the way right now, and how are you seeing that maybe reflected in daily work?
Yeah, Drew's been really good ever since he stepped on campus. He's always one of really the first person on this coming to last. Looking at the film room. He's a film junkie, man. Like he's always looking at film, always asking questions and all that. So Drew's been really good. His just process has been fantastic, man. Like everybody looks up to him as a leader, and he just brings the energy too. So Drew's been really good.
Move on to Samuel Kirk from KYMA.
Hey Nick, just wondering, have you had the chance to watch some of the other running backs that have been really dominating throughout this college football season, including, Cam Scatterbo, yourself? I mean, I think this pool of teams here is a lot of great running backs, and even in the NFL this year, running back has really been a vital position again. I'm sure you got the chance to watch Saquon and Derrick Henry do their thing. I just think it's been a big year for the position as a whole, if you'd like to maybe talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Running backs throughout this whole career, this whole season, running backs, everybody's been really good as the running back. I feel like everybody's been good. Everybody's been that complete back. You're not just seeing everybody just run. You're seeing people blocking, catching the ball out the backfield. That being that complete back where everybody wants. So like everybody's been good, really good. So we just got to keep it up.
Thanks, Dick. We have a follow-up from Seth Engel.
Hey, Nick. Ashton Jeanty's had a great season, but he hasn't faced the Penn State defense yet. You have. For some of the Boise State people who maybe haven't seen that defense in a ton of action yet, what can you say about, how tricky it is to kind of make ground against them?
Yeah, I just say like it starts up front. That D line. You got Zane, Abdul, Denai, and Devon. All them players, man. They always set the tone at practice too. The one of them leaders too. Even in the games too, they're making big plays, gets our offense going, especially, linebacker, safety. I can name everybody on the defense. But, that defense is really good going against them every time, every day. Iron sharpens iron, makes our offense better too. So I feel good for them coming up for this game.
Audrey, I think you had a follow-up as well.
I did. Yep. Hey, Nick. I'm just curious about Ashton Jeanty, and have you guys, is there any relationship there kind of in that running back fraternity? Have you guys ever met or chatted or anything like that? And when you look at trying to slow a guy like that down, obviously not necessarily your problem to slow him down, but how would you kind of suggest maybe going about doing that when you have a guy just with that much power?
Yeah, I want to say we have a little relationship. I haven't really talked to him like that, but I obviously seen his highlights and we obviously see what he's doing in the national stage. He's a really good player, obviously. And just how to slow him down, obviously you got to wrap up, different opponents that he faced, everybody's not wrapping up, not tackling, trying to go for the big hit. And obviously his vision, His balance is obviously incredible. So, a guy like him, you gotta wrap him up and tackle him.
All right, last question, Daniel Gallen.
Nick, we've talked a lot about both you and Katron being going really well these past couple of weeks. How differently do defenses have to play your offense when both of you are clicking as opposed to just one or the other? Do you see any differences there from the defenses?
Yeah, I feel like once we start going, the guys, the defenders different, putting the safety more down. We're obviously going to see that more often. But again, our offense is versatile. You have obviously Drew that can run the ball, me and Katron. You got a guy like Tyler Warren, receivers, man. So you can stop us, but there's obviously other players that will be open too. So I feel like that kind of makes defense corners think a little bit. But yeah,
All right. Thanks, Nick. We appreciate your time. We'll see you out here in Arizona as well.
appreciate it. Thank you.